All right, so hopefully the lighting in here isn't too bad right now, but I just got out of Detective Pikachu, so I figured I would go ahead and hit you guys with the review. Normally I film like the day after I see something, but it started earlier than most movies and ended earlier than most movies, so it's only like 9 o'clock right now. So I'm giving you guys my freshest of thoughts. So if there's something that I don't talk about, it could be that I didn't have time to percolate on things long enough, but it's a Detective Pikachu movie. This isn't, I'm not contemplating anything deeper in it, but just for the quick short of it, for the people who just want to know, it was a very fun movie. If you're just looking for like a ridiculous, fun movie, if you're a fan of Pokemon, go watch it. You're gonna have a lot of really nice moments. Like, I, for one, like probably many of you, grew up with Pokemon. I had like Pokemon cards back in the day. When I bought myself my first Game Boy Color, I bought like Pokemon Blue and Red, and then I got Pokemon Yellow, and I still to this day buy Pokemon games for my various Nintendo handheld systems. I have very fond memories playing things like Pokemon Pinball, the Pokemon card game, the actual game. So, Pokemon was something that was very important to me growing up. And while I might not be as big a fan of it as some people still are, we still appreciate and love Pokemon. So I just wanted to see this. I know that this was also based off of a video game, but I think we all kind of knew what we were expecting. It's Ryan Reynolds voicing Pikachu. And I think that right there, like if that alone sounds horrible to you, then you probably weren't gonna like the movie. But if that sounded really fun to you, you'll probably enjoy the movie. It was very fun. There's a lot of really heartwarming moments. There was a lot of just really funny moments. It's quippy. It's not quite on the Deadpool level of like what you can expect, but it's the Ryan Reynolds humor, but that doesn't cheapen it in any way. There's still a lot of really beautiful scenery, beautifully done Pokemon. Like, no one's expecting these things to look real, which I think is where the Sonic movie was kind of going wrong, but apparently they're going to fix that, which I almost think is a bad choice, because where it stands, that could have been a movie that was so bad it was funny, but now I don't know what's gonna happen. But either way, it's like they look like Pokemon, but they didn't try too hard to make them look like they really would fit in perfectly in the real world, which I'm okay with. They just kind of looked like more realistic versions of the Pokemon we know and love. Some of them looked a lot better than other ones. A lot of them are very, very cute. Obviously, Pikachu himself is very cute. So it was fun. It was a very fun movie. I don't really know what else to say, but it was also very heartwarming. There was a lot of good emotion. There was a strong story going on in the background for what you'd expect from something based off of a video game. It wasn't just like nonstop quips back and forth. There was kind of like a deeper story there that was really nice. There's also a really nice little Easter egg that I'll talk about. We'll get to a little spoiler section after I'm done kind of talking about this. But it's, yeah, basically, if you're a big Pokemon fan, I would, prioritize it, watch it. It shouldn't disappoint you. It was a very fun movie, especially if you're a fan of like Ryan Reynolds comedy or anything like that. If you're just looking for like a lighthearted movie that's gonna hit you a little bit in the feels, but mostly just be a really fun experience, go watch it. It will not disappoint. If you haven't seen Avengers Endgame yet, though, see that first. We're trying to we're trying to beat Avatar with the inflation, not just pre-inflation. We're trying to beat it with inflation. So go see Endgame if you haven't yet. But this was very delightful and it was fun. But in my opinion, it didn't quite stick the landing in the ending. I thought it was really great and how like the plot itself kind of wraps up and resolves, for the most part, right until like the last, I would say like 3 to 5 minutes is where I'm kind of like, wish they didn't do that, but it doesn't ruin the experience. Still definitely a fun movie to watch. And last thing, just before we get into the spoilers, obviously I really liked Ryan Reynolds' portrayal. Justice Smith did a fantastic job. Don't know how I feel about the female character. But to be fair, she was very like cartoony. Like, she really did come across like a character that would be in a cartoon show. But it might have been like over the top. Obviously, it's not like a perfect movie, but it's just a fun, ridiculous, off the walls movie. And like I said, this really just comes down to like, if the trailers looked at least somewhat entertaining to you, you should enjoy it. It's silly, but if you're looking for something really deep here, or if you thought that there was gonna be more to it from the trailers, like, this probably isn't for you. All right, so now let's get into some of the spoilers, some of the more like specific plot points, and just kind of talking about why I didn't really like the ending and stuff like that. So if you haven't seen the movie yet and you're worried about spoilers, this is where you should click off, click off the video if you haven't seen the movie yet or you care about spoilers. Okay, so light spoilery stuff. When he walks into his dad's apartment and that classic detective movie playing, and that is not a real movie. That is literally just a movie they made up for Home Alone. So if you guys know Home Alone, I'm sure most of you have seen Home Alone. There's that whole scene where, you know, he's watching it in both of the Home Alones. He watches the first Home Alone and he watches it in the second Home Alone, and it's like, you know, keep the change, you filthy animal. That's not a real movie. They specifically shot those scenes just for Home Alone, and they're playing it in this movie as some kind of like homage to it, or just for fun, because obviously they completely own the rights to something that isn't real, like Warner Brothers. But it was a nice touch, and it made me laugh. And I'm sure a lot of people will know it's from Home Alone, but a lot of people think that's a real movie. It was really funny, like in one of the trivias, the Christmas quote trivia, somebody was all like, I know it's from Home Alone, but was it from a movie before that? And it's not. So that was kind of a fun little Easter egg there. Obviously, there's probably some stuff they could have maybe spent a little bit more time on, but I think, you know, for the type of movie it was, an hour and 44 minutes was the runtime. I think that's a pretty solid runtime for a movie like this. It's not too long, so kids aren't gonna get bored, and it's a pretty easy thing to take your family to. I think they probably could have like kind of delved into things a little bit deeper, but, you know, overall I enjoyed the plot. Like, I liked the whole, you know, I don't know if I really got the purpose of putting everybody in Pokemon, but I got, you know, him wanting to be in Mewtwo's body made sense to me. That clicked, that made sense, that was good. It was just that next level of this, you know, rage drug is gonna make them vulnerable to us transferring the consciousness of people into Pokemon. That was kind of weird for me, but it wasn't enough to ruin it. But for me, what did not stick the landing, and which I did not enjoy, and as far as I know was not part of the video game, is the fact that Tim's dad was in Pikachu. So the character that he's been interacting with the entire time was not actually Pikachu, and him understanding Pikachu, it was his dad. And then, you know, they split it, and then his dad's Ryan Reynolds. I didn't like that, and Jen didn't like it either. I'm not saying it ruined the movie, and maybe some people will really enjoy it, but I think the impact, I think it would have been a better ending, and probably would have had a better just emotional impact of just kind of like, you know, him getting really excited, being like, oh, so you can take me to my dad now, and him just being like, you know, unfortunately your dad really did pass away, but, you know, now you have this connection, and because there's a whole moment where they bond and stuff, and it's him opening himself up to somebody for the first time, and, you know, I realize that he feels like he made mistakes with his dad and his family in the past, and you kind of want to undo that, but I didn't really like it. And then just the way that he had been acting throughout the movie, obviously because it's Ryan Reynolds, being Ryan Reynolds, didn't really feel like a father figure, so it just felt awkward by the end of it when it switched back like that. And then it just made me feel bad for the Pikachu, and it really, in my opinion, closes off sequels. Sequel potential is just gone unless they do it again or something. Like, it's just weird. It changes the whole dynamic between the two of them, and I was not a fan. But it's like the last 3 minutes. So if you just kind of ignore the last 3 minutes and rewrite it in your head, or even just change it so that his dad is just there but somewhere else, if you want to have that ending where it's like his dad's just been like, you know, hidden somewheres or something, if you want to do that, that could have worked too. I really just did not like the fact that, you know, the consciousness is transferred into the Pikachu. Was not a fan. That's where it lost it for me completely. And then some of the details were a little bit iffy. But for the most part, you know, going into it, I had no real expectations of like supreme quality, but it was entertaining. There was enough to kind of keep you kind of, you know, thinking about the next step, what was going to happen next, and just, you know, being along for like the silliness and the quips. It was fun. So I don't think anybody's really expecting anything more than that. Let me know what you guys thought. If you did see it, how do you feel the ending panned out? Was there any specific moments that you really liked? Any specific moments that you didn't like? It makes me kind of want to play the game on stream. I'll be honest. I would not mind playing through that game. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts. So I think they did a really good job considering what it is, but could have stuck the landing a little bit better. So let me know what you guys are thinking in the comment section down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and let me know what cards you got. They were giving out Pokemon cards. I got the first version of the Detective Pikachu, and a fucking Jigglypuff, and Jen got, I don't know, one of the Pikachus and a Bulbasaur. So she lucked out. She got the Bulbasaur. I got the Shaft with Jigglypuff. There's nothing wrong with Jigglypuff. And let me know what Pokemon partner you would want to have if this world was real. We're going to try this interactive stuff. Also, I have a join button now. So if you go down there, there's like a button you can click and you can give me money for the mediocre content that I provide you. Yeah, if you want. You don't have to. It's just there. You know, they gave me the option, so like, it'd be dumb not to. So yeah, that is going to do for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a fantastic day, and we'll catch you all later.